I'm going to take you on a little day in the life. So just come spend the day with me.
My day actually starts way before this vlog started. I get up early and jump into my cold plunge, and then head to the gym, where I proceed to throw heavy things around for an hour or two, followed by some melting in the sauna. And then once I get home, I always head into the garden and harvest fresh fruits and veggies for my breakfast. I used to take terrible care of myself and ate tons of junk food and processed foods, and a few years ago, as I think many of us did, I went down the rabbit hole of food and what's in our food. So in 2020, I grew my first vegetables, which were these 3 tiny little pepper plants I got from my local grocery store. And those 3 plants started my love of gardening and grew into this. Now I've taken over an entire corner of my backyard, and I grow everything from potatoes to cucumbers, carrots, onions, garlic, strawberries, raspberries, beets, lettuce, and all sorts of herbs and flowers. Today I'm harvesting some things for my breakfast. My first thing that I harvested was this small little green bell pepper, my first semi-ripe sunburst bumblebee tomato, some calendula flowers, which I've been drying, chives, dill, and a zucchini I spotted at the very last second. Cooking with fresh ingredients that you grew and picked yourself literally has no comparison. I grated my zucchini up and decided to make some pan-fried cheesy zucchini and eggs, with a tiny bit of pepper and my 1 little tomato and the herbs. Also, can't forget the coffee. I am one of those people that needs at least 1 cup of coffee to function each day. Otherwise, I'm useless. Now, I recently started making myself a schedule to follow for my workday. It has helped immensely with my organization and actually accomplishing things. What I used to do was have a mental list of like 20 things I needed to get done and would get overwhelmed. There was so much to do and I would never really make too much progress towards getting that stuff done. And then every once in a while I encountered my dreaded enemy, the doom scroll, which I am very susceptible towards, especially the last few months, so I needed to change things up a little. Now I have a system with categories of tasks and make a monthly rotating schedule that hits all of the categories several times throughout the month. Each week I go into my Notion and schedule these specific tasks that need to be done, and I give myself 2 categories per day to work on. So for example, making is a category, which means I get to make jewelry or work on my Glowforge projects during that time. Now today's categories are filming and making. Most of the day will be taken up by filming, since I am making 2 videos at once, so this is going to be a little bit of a longer day. And part of my filming category is scripting, which is what I am doing now. So while I write myself a whole script, I very rarely follow it exactly, but typing out what I want to say makes it so much easier for me to flow when I get in front of the camera. And what you're seeing me script in is something called Notion. And I have this absolutely fantastic YouTube video planner template that I found on Etsy, and it makes it super easy for me to plan my videos, especially when I do something a lot more complex and plan how I want to have the entire video set up. The majority of my videos are filmed down here in my little craft room workshop. I used to have a very complex setup with all sorts of ring lights and tripods everywhere, and I kind of slimmed that down a lot recently. So I have one large tripod for my camera, a small table one for like different angles, and an overhead mount which you can see at the edge of my desk. I also use this long light bar as my studio light since I don't have a true studio light yet. That is on the wish list. And a tiny little light bar that works great as an accent light for backgrounds. Although I do need to figure out a better background lighting setup one day. You'll notice that I don't always have a background accent light in my videos because I forget to charge this light very often. Now this video I'm filming is going to be a talking head video with clips spliced in when I edit it. But it's an easy one to film where I just need to talk to the camera. I don't have to keep changing angles like when I'm filming one of my tutorial videos. It's been a very busy day. I have been filming this video that I'm filming, which is my little day in the life vlog. I have also scripted my next YouTube video, filmed it just now, and time to do a little bit of design work, work on a little bit of projects, kind of doing some finishing work today. I have some bookshelf tavern signs to finish up. I have 3 more, so I'm just going to finish those up quickly. And I think I'm going to finally start working on the next collection and picking out the next stones that I want to use and designing the pieces, which are going to have a tropical leafy feel, maybe with some like ferns and things like that. Now once that is done, I get to move on to the next category for the little bit of my workday that is left, which I am forcing myself to stick to my schedule for now, and that means when my workday is over, I get to relax and work on my hobbies, so I don't get burned out. But before that, I have to finish up 3 more bookshelf tavern signs I printed. I absolutely love these little signs, but these will be the last ones I make for now because I am going to revamp the entire design already. This is something I have designed completely from scratch, and I'm still playing around with how I want them to look before I start making all the different genres and signs that I want to make. I am even toying with the idea of making just bases and then selling different packs of signs that you can then hang from your bases and deciding how I want to have the chain attached to the post. I might do some sort of S-hook or something simpler, I think. My thought process is that I have to consider that if I'm making these on a much larger scale, is it feasible for me to do so, especially as a one-woman business? And even more especially when sales pick up for the latter half of the year. So the way I make these designs right now is that they have these super tiny jump rings where I string the chains through, and that is super time consuming to attach them all. And they're kind of hard to attach, and I'm always worried I'm going to break one. Now, in the latter half of the year, I make and sell an absolute ton of ornaments and decorative boxes, which is going to severely cut into my time to make things like these tavern signs, which are very finicky and takes a very long time, surprisingly. The boxes I make are all fantasy style type boxes, and they have some very complex designs, and they already take a long time to sand, stain, and assemble. So I will be redesigning my tavern signs over the next few weeks and probably letting you guys vote on what looks best. So keep an eye out on my community post and Instagram if you'd like to vote. So to end my day, I'm going to work on designing the next collection, which I'm going to do in silver. There's a lot of pieces here. Which is kind of fun looking at the old collections. The last thing for today is just to sketch out some ideas I have for my next jewelry collection. So I am aiming to release a collection soon and have decided on a theme, which right now is just called Leafy. I want to make a few things that are covered in leaves and ferns and have that sweet summer vibe to them. So when designing a collection, I always pick my stones first. I design around the stone, so I have a few ideas, and these might still change, but for now, the stones that I've picked have kind of given me a few ideas. The way I start is I do a super rough sketch by outlining the stones first and then trying to kind of get the idea that's in my head down on paper, and it looks very messy at first. Now this is just the initial throw the idea on paper and then let it sit for a little bit and marinate, and then I go back and refine it. I might change the stones or some parts of the design, but I try to sketch out the ideas whenever I have them so I don't forget them. Right now these are super messy, and the one sketch I realized I don't even like for the chrysoprase, but it's getting late and I decided I need to give the creative side a rest for today. My days are filled with creative pursuits and tending to my garden. It's a slow living existence, but very busy at the same time. To be honest, this is the only way I want to live, and I get to for 4 days. The other days, I work, and I pull a 36-hour week in 3 days, which means I do nothing except eat, sleep, and work. One day, the goal is to work for myself, but until then, you'll find me busy creating my dream and chipping away at making it happen. Thank you to everyone that supports this channel and my little shop, which allows me to keep doing this. You guys are the best.